Professor Guru. Let me just introduce my wife, Dr. Mary Mwangi, who's just standing up there. And you can see we have come even as a family because Harry became a household name, even though mine was only to supervise him. So the journey began, I think, in a class. I was asked, requested to teach a leadership class for the PhD class at Daystar University. I work for a different university. I'm the Vice Chancellor at International Leadership University, which is formerly NIST in Kilimani. But that was before I took up that responsibility. But I gladly agreed because, of course, the person asking me as well had been on my board, Professor Obonyo, at some point. So I was paying back, I guess, that request. And like Professor Guru said, you know, he quickly distinguished himself. You could notice him and so on. And when he asked me whether I could be one of the supervisors, again, I wasn't a faculty member or a lecturer at Daystar, so of course I needed special permission. But it didn't take me, it wasn't a struggle for me to say yes, because I knew it would be a joy to work with him. There are people you fear also supervising, because you know they're going to be a problem. They may never graduate, they don't have the commitment and the discipline, and I knew that was never going to be an issue. We congratulate you, Haribet, and Dr. Haribet now, and your wife Maureen, and all the others who have played a part, you know, to support you. I think I have just 3 points to mention. One, I've been very encouraged. Now I understand why sometimes it took him a little longer to answer some of them. Because he was doing the kind of ministry I've heard about. That also takes time and commitment, isn't it? So there are times that you wanted him to turn around some work quickly, and he'd say, I'm working on it. And little did I know that he was doing a lot more ministry. I think I've learned a lot more about him being here, just to understand, you know, his heart and calling, beyond other things that I know he does, because he's also very good, like Professor Guru said, in writing. There are times I've invited him even to our university to help other students, to help them to know how to publish their work, because he's done that very easily and so on. So continue to serve the Lord. He is always faithful, and you can never outgive the Lord. So I know as you give of yourself, as you serve the Lord, He will also continue to bless you. I think the second thought is just a little bit about that topic. Allow me to revisit the topic and to confirm, yes, that he passed well. And this is a genuine, and it's a joy, because we are living in a time when people want things easy. People want things cheap. But this is going the hard way and choosing to do it the right way. So we must acknowledge and uphold that kind of ministry and so on. Just to say that the topic that he worked on, to do with the issue of followership identity, dealt with the question of how can followers also play a role in being able to shape the environment and to shape even the leadership situation. I think as we think about our country, Kenya, I thought I would turn that around for us. You know, we are all citizens of this country, and we are very prone, it is very easy to complain and grumble. No wonder the Bible tells us not to do so, because that's the easy thing to do. But the Lord wants us to get involved in bringing change where we can, positively. And so as followers, as servants of the Lord in this country, in our respective spheres, what are we doing? Where you at least have some influence to bring change. And you may think that, oh, maybe I'm not in government and so on. I'm privileged to be able to speak from time to time to senior people. And sometimes you'll be surprised, and they also ask you the same question. You know, how can I also help influence things? And you're thinking, you're already in a place where most of us would envy, thinking when you are there, you can bring change. So it's that ability to bring change, and that's what you're talking about, that identity, how you identify yourself as a follower, has nothing to do with your position. It's partly a mindset and how you see yourself. And so if you see yourself as a child of the King, as a servant of the Lord, and you know that God has called you, you will be able to bring change. So I encourage all of us, wherever God has put us, maybe this is our date in coming to celebrate Dr. Haribet, is that we'll also go away challenged with what am I doing where God has put me? Because one day we are going to give an account, isn't it? You know, for what we did with the privileges and opportunities and influence that God has given us wherever we are. So let's do what we can when we can to be able to do that. And finally, I also wanted to encourage him I think our sister Virginia is not here too, but Prof has already done that. To say, yes, the journey to professorship is another step. I actually just attained it. I graduated 10 years ago. It took me maybe longer than it should. It shouldn't take you as long. I wasn't as much in academia, but I just attained professorship actually just last week. So it's a journey. But it is necessary, and I know he's a good writer, like we said, and publisher. The other idea, of course, is to teach and mentor other people, because again, it's not for yourself. It is so that you can raise other people who will also have the same values and the same vision and commitment to the Lord that you do. So may the Lord help you and bless you in that journey. Continue to impact. We believe, like Prof. Faith has said, that God has a lot more for him. This is only but a beginning. It is, in a sense, a celebration of one phase, the beginning of another phase. And may the Lord take you to the next phase and so on. So I brought you a book. And because I know that maybe you'll be thinking now you're done with books. So I have a little book gift to just remind you that this is the beginning. And it's a bit about lifetime of learning. So may the Lord continue to help you as you learn, so that you can be a blessing to others as well. God bless you.
And we are not getting there. But Harry wrote that book, and it's a wonderful book, very encouraging. And his own writing, that's how actually we know who is a good student and who is not a good student. The good student writes. And when they are corrected, they know which direction to go. They don't keep going back. But a good student like Harry continues to get better. He was also very pleasant among his colleagues in the class. They love him, just like Virginia, you have said. The others also who love him because they enjoyed him in class. I think even there they would have called you Bishop in the class. And it's a class made up of people from different places, because his walk with the Lord is clear. There's no moving around about it. He knows the Lord and speaks about the Lord with confidence and has influence even in that way. So we really thank God for the topic that you chose for your research. He was looking at how teachers of English construct their followership identity. It was an interesting topic because often we talk about leadership. There's a lot that is written about leadership, but he chose to go the other way and say, how about those who follow? And many of us are followers of one thing or the other. How do we construct our identity as followers? How do we situate ourselves as followers? What kind of followers do we become, and why? That was the research that he was doing, and we hope that he will grow into it, because he has extracted some of those questions and is writing articles in the referee journals, which means he's pursuing this question so that we understand ourselves better. When we say, I am so and so, I belong to this church, I love this pastor, I love this preacher, what is it? What is it that makes you be or take on that identity? That was the research that he was pursuing. So we really thank God for the times that you have spent in reading and writing and rewriting, because they say that in scholarship, writing is rewriting. Every word matters. It could twist the whole work and make it mean something different. Just one word, you could be skilled for it. He did the exam to pass that work, and he did very well. We were very proud of him in how he answered the questions before the panel, and finally we were able to say, by my authority and that of the entire university. Those of you who are listening on Friday and have been to such ceremonies, that sounds like a very simple sentence, but it is a very profound sentence. It means that you have satisfied those who are examining you, You have satisfied the scholarly community, because this work is not just yours, because even as the supervisors, we are being scrutinized. What kind of work is this that you are passing? So we really, really thank God for your persistence, for your consistency in whatever you are doing, and for your faith, because this work is not easy. It calls upon the scholar to really look up to God and trust God. When I looked at the list of those who are graduating, and I didn't see his name for a moment, I quickly texted under the table during the meeting when we were looking at the list of students. I said, Harry, what's happening? I don't see your name on the list. And I wondered. And he quickly texted back. I don't know whether he jumped from the farm to the phone. And he said, it's something to do with my school fees. It doesn't reflect, so that's why the name is not there. I nearly quickly pulled out my checkbook. There is no way he was not going to graduate. For some fees somewhere. Fortunately, he was able to text back after some time and say, but I paid. It's only that it had not reflected. So we were determined this time, but it is the prayers. It was God at work that he would graduate and graduate well for the honor and glory of God, so that he can serve even in higher places. We were reading a passage where they were talking about different animals. The ant working very hard, another animal and another one, and even the lizards. The lizards in the king's palace. But how does a lizard get into the king's palace? And they do, and they are there. Places where we can't get to. You need a lot of permission and what and clearance, security checks. And from that passage in Proverbs, as you read, the lizard is there in the king's palace. And they wish you that position, that you'll be there in places even where you would not ordinarily go, because the favor of God will be on you as you have been faithful. God bless you, and do well and do better for the honor and glory of God.